Mayor's Monday on WSAU.com with Mayor Zach Vruwink of the city of Wisconsin Rapids. Mr. Mayor wanted to touch base with you on a few things. First off, the Centralia Center recently had a possible tenant. The city council approved, I believe it was the Cultural Center, to move into the Centralia Center, but now they've pulled out of that agreement. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, the Centralia Center is a city-owned building that was a former Walmart store. When Walmart got in their craze of building supercenters, they vacated the mall. They were an anchor tenant in the mall. So the city acquired the property and sited the senior center in there. Well, there's also additional tenants in there. There's the Wisconsin Rapids Community Theater has their theater specifically in this space. And then up until recently, the city had a number of human service agencies from the county located in that space. And when they moved out to move into the river block downtown, they created a space opportunity for that was available. The Cultural Center received notice that they needed to vacate their existing premises because of some building issues. That building, I understand, will be torn down this fall or sometime after they vacate downtown. So the Cultural Center approached the city with a proposal to lease the space. They're also looking for just temporary space. So they were going to embark on a capital campaign to develop a new cultural center here in the city near downtown. There was a generous donor that stepped forward to donate the property. So the Cultural Center, we understood, was going to take the opportunity to the city's option to take the space. Then we were notified late last week that they decided to walk away from that deal, and they found space just behind City Hall here to move into. So it's been kind of a lot of moving target, a lot of pieces that were not really set in stone. So that space is still available now for rent or for occupancy. Now that building, as I mentioned, sits next to the mall. So the Boys and Girls Club YMCA's decision to purchase the mall and demolish it has created some concern amongst the community theater folks who occupy space in the existing mall. So they straddle kind of the property lines between the city's property and the mall that they occupy for their offices and some of their studio space. So that space is available in Centralia. The project of the Boys and Girls Club in the mall piece is still moving forward. We're working with them with some of their tenants to try to find some new location or some homes for those folks to move their businesses or their operations. So that's kind of the update with Centralia and the mall.
Is there a potential for the Centralia Center to be sold along with that mall space?
I think all options are on the table. We certainly have commitments with the senior center that's there and all the existing tenants, or the leaseholders or the tenants. But I think, we could certainly look to anybody. If a developer came and said, you know what, we want to own all of this, because there's a lot of opportunity. We not only show a wall, but there's an entrance that moves through the mall property. So there are certainly synergies between the proposed YMCA Boys and Girls Club project and Centralia Center, as is the VA clinic that's also on premise.
Sure. Moving on to the maybe you know a little bit about this, the Citizens Police Academy for the Wisconsin Rapids Police Department. I've heard that. I know Portage County does something similar with the Sheriff's Department, kind of taking people through a course, to sort of teach them about what they do around here. And I understand that there may be still some availability for it. I think it starts, well, this will be airing on Monday, so I think it starts today.
Right. So the Citizens Police Academy is a proud program that the police department holds annually, where they enter through a multi-month program where they learn the ins and outs of being a police officer. So having Mid-State Technical College here in the city with the program, the police science program, it affords a great opportunity to get out to the range. They get in a squad car to do a simulation of some of the activities around some cones, traffic cones. It's a neat program. And so if individuals are interested for the next term, I certainly believe that they will continue to operate the program. And so there will be opportunities for the citizens to join that firsthand experiential kind of police department work, it's a pretty neat perspective. I know a lot of folks that go through the program. There's an alumni program where those folks stay really active in the alumni group, and they do fundraisers for a canine, for example, or they've done some other things to renovate the training room here at City Hall. So it's a really neat program to involve citizens in firsthand real-world experience related to the police department.
Back in late September, there was a historic piece of Wisconsin Rapids that was restored. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the Memorial Clock and Bell Tower was constructed in 1991. Originally, the clock and bell tower, the clock mechanism and the bell mechanism were in the original city hall on the east side, which was Grand Rapids at the time, before we merged and became one city and known as Wisconsin Rapids. But that city hall was torn down, and the clock mechanism and the bell were saved. And there was a local effort in the 80s to fundraise for this memorial clock and bell tower to be placed at Mead Rapids View Park. And so that clock and bell tower has been there since '91. It was in need of some refurbishment and some attention, so the Mead Witter Foundation stepped forward and said, we're very interested in sponsoring this renovation. We understand it's a fixture in our cities. It's a landmark, really, in our city. And so they stepped forward to do a full restoration. It's nearly complete, but the bell is tolling again. So you can, and not only that, the hands are back on the clock so you can see the time. But it's really a cool piece of history. It was rededicated in honor of Paul Gross, a local historian and businessman who used to own Paul Gross Jewelers. And he was the person that retained that clock and bell mechanism, said, I don't want this to go to the landfill like the building did when it was torn down. So it was neat to commemorate the occasion in his honor, but also to celebrate the moment and really appreciation for the Mead Witter Foundation and the committee members, committee of 3 that pulled that clock and bell tower project off. It was really neat.
I imagine that since the school year has begun and now for over a month, you've met with your youth council?
Yes, we had our first meeting in September. We're having another meeting this week, actually, at the zoo, because we're about to kick off a zoo master planning exercise. So we're as was the importance of the group from the beginning. It wasn't good enough to just have youth voice. We wanted to have youth at the table. So we are meeting at the zoo and are going to be talking about the upcoming school year efforts related to the zoo master plan. So we've done some recruitment. We're still taking new members. So students from 9th to 12th grade can apply to be a member of the Mayor's Youth Council. We're going to be accepting 4 more. So it brings our total about to 12. But we're still looking for students from Lincoln and Assumption and other area high schools as well.
And what are you planning on doing with the zoo then? What does this plan entail?
Well, we don't have a master plan, so there's no long-range plan for the property. So we wanted to accomplish that first and foremost. But we also received earlier this year a $300,000 bequest from an estate to fund improvements specifically at the zoo. So instead of just haphazardly deciding what we were going to do with that money, we wanted to have a master planning discussion with community members, youth in particular. It's amazing. That property has over 8,000 visitors every summer. And so it's a really treasured and well respected community fixture, I would say, that the municipal zoo offers our residents.
That's a great opportunity for those kids to be involved with. I mean, that's a lot of money.
It is.
$300,000 that they're going to now
change.
be able to help to
Yep.
figure out what the city's going to do with it. Well, anything else coming up in the next month or so that you're looking out for?
2018 city budget. We're going through the process right now. We're reviewing requests from departments, revenue restrictions on levy limits, on tax levy limits, continue to create challenges for us. Health insurance costs have continued to go up, and that consumes more and more of our annual budget, And so that's a concern because overall we're having to do less because of growth in expenditures and just the general cost of doing business increases annually. So we're working through the process of going through the requests, and we'll have the annual budget then. It's been proposed to the city council in terms of the requests, and then in November we'll take action on the budget.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.